Hey guys, so I want to make a new video going over the best farms I have found so far in the new 3.25 patch. So these are mostly going to be tier 17 farms, but I will mention some tier 16 farms as I know that's where most people are at. But yeah, let's go over them real quick. I have my whole Google sheet here and it just has all my farms on here. So if you ever want to like look what I'm doing, I always put my latest farm on here. So yeah. But this first farm is strong boxes in tier 17, and this farm also works in tier 16 as well, although it is less profit. I think it's probably somewhere around 5 to 7 divs per an hour if the scarabs don't get too expensive at least. So yeah, what is this farm and like what are you farming in this? So this is just raw currency, divination cards, and scarabs. That's essentially the whole farm. You're taking just essentially beyond strong boxes of course, and then just scarab nodes, and that's really it. All the map effect nodes to get more map modifiers. You know, every 2% is essentially more currency, more scarabs, and more pack size in a tier 17 map, so very strong to take map modifier effects. And once again, this can be done in tier 16 as long as ambush scarabs aren't too expensive. If they do get too expensive, then it might be a tier 17 only strat, and I think in tier 16 it's probably around a 5 to 6 to an hour mark. Also to set, these 4 scarabs are pretty much set in stone, the 2 ambush, the hidden compartments, and discernment. The nemesis is a flex spot. You can use another ambush scarab, you can use opponency scarab and playing around with seems okay. I'm not really sure what's the best. Another ambush scarab might just be the best, but yeah, try whatever you want. Don't use nemesis scarab if you're going to do this in tier 16, but I would do it and tier 17 it's not too bad. But yeah, I'm not sure, I've been playing around with stuff. It's just a flex spot, try whatever you want. Yeah, I've been doing this farm all day. In tier 17 this is around anywhere from like 15 to 20 divines an hour. I don't have enough data to really show, but when my test yesterday it was somewhere around that 15 to 20 divine hour mark. The issue is though, there is quite a bit to sell as you do div cards, scarabs, and you have your raw currency, so you know, do keep that in mind. If you are doing this in tier 17, you want to roll your maps. So let me, I don't know if I have any here, but I don't. But yeah, you want to roll your maps for at least 100% more currency or more scarabs. You really want one or the other, or both combined, like maybe like 7% more currency and 50% more scarabs. And also, as for chisels, I think the best chisels to use is the pack size one, but if these are too expensive, then the currency chisel is also okay. And even just a regular chisel is also good. Also, if you're doing this in tier 16, I would only use the regular chisel and that's it, as other ones are probably too expensive to use in tier 16. Next farm I want to go over is the Fractur Farm. I was doing this a couple days ago. This was around like 10 to 13 divines an hour with the prices of fractures. Not too sure how much it is now. Probably still the same. Fractures usually stay around the same price. But yeah, this is also just scarab farm plus fractures. You're using the tradition scarab and just trying to spawn as many monsters as possible while taking all the scarab nodes, and yeah, you're just farming a bunch of fractures. Now I did want to say, I don't think this tree or these scarabs is optimal. Do play around with this. I do think there is a really good farmer tradition scarab that, yeah, this one is probably just not it, although it still is good. There definitely is something better than this, because this does work on non-native monsters. So it does work on like Harbinger and Beyond monsters, though when I tried doing this farm with Harbingers over these scarabs, it just felt worse. So yeah, I do want to say, I think this farm has really high potential, but at the current state with the one I have, it's probably around like 13 divines an hour or so, which is still good, but nothing amazing. So yeah, this is a tier 17 only strat. I would not do this in tier 16. So if you're wondering, what do I do in tier 16? I still think Legion is very solid. You really want to do the Beyond Delirium stuff as soon as possible. It's probably still around like 4 to 5 divines an hour, which is okay. It's really good to make your first, like, you know, 30 divines or so. You don't need to use Legion Scarabs, by the way. If these are over 5 chaos, I would not use them. If they are 5 chaos, then do use them. You do not have to use these. Feel free to just throw in other cheap scarabs. So RCs is always very good. These are like 1 C each. Monstrous Lineage, these are also very strong. And these are like 1 or 2 C each. Always use these because these get a lot more value out of your altars. And altars are quite good this league because, you know, chisels and bottles are so much, and really common from red altars, of course. So yeah, throw in whatever cheap scarabs. If the Legion scarabs are too expensive, over 5C, it's generally not worth it. 100 traders also is generally very strong as well. It's very good just to get your starter currency. If you can't handle Delirium, just take it out, but you probably do want to do Beyond, as it does add a lot more currency to your maps, as it adds a lot more monsters to your maps. Next one is still this boss rush. Boss rush is actually decent because the Sith maps went up as people started to use them for gold. It's probably not more than like 3 or 4 divines an hour, but once again, to get your starter currency, your first 20 or 30 divines, you can definitely just do this strat and, you know, have good success. So I do recommend it still. Very nice. All it is, you're taking all these heist nodes just to click the box, free money, and you're just taking all these nodes up top, you know, more Shaper, Elder Guardian maps, Sith maps, whatever, right? Besides that, it's destructive play. Ideally, if you do this map on Silo and only Silo, essentially what happens when you do a Silo map, I explained this in a past video, but the boss phases and the Maven summons the additional bosses. You then kill the additional bosses and then leave the map. Maven doesn't witness the map because it phased, and then you just keep running Silo over and over and over again, and it's very fast and efficient. Now, of course, it's really hard to sustain Silo, so you can either buy it or just, you know, run 10 different maps and do the Maven 10 away as well. Either way, it's a good starter strat. Do recommend. And last strat here is just a standard red altar beyond tier 16 alch and go strategy. So essentially all the strat is tier 16 alch and go, you're farming beyond, essence, and red altars. This is probably around like the 3 to 4 div mark if I had to guess. It's very easy, get starter currency. If you can't handle essence, then just take out some essence nodes. These ones specifically do make the map boss very, very hard. Take these out if you just can't handle it. But yeah, this is just for like starter currency. Not much to say here. It's just alch and go, preferably. Dunes is probably pretty good. Jungle Valley is probably okay. Mausoleum's okay. But yeah, any map you like, really. Anyway, that's pretty much about it. That's all the strategies I have so far. I just wanted to make a quick video to go over all the strategies that I have, you know, found and been testing over the past few days. There might be some more potential here in tier 17, but yeah, tier 16 farms are kind of mediocre, and I don't really think there's much to find in tier 16. I do want to say ultimatum and tier 17 map farming in tier 16s is very, very strong. I just don't have a guide or whatever for them. Tier 17 map farming is only going to get better as the league goes on, as the tier 17 maps are keep cropping up in price. You know, some tier 17 maps are already worth over 80 chaos each. So yeah, tier 17 map farming is also very, very strong as well.